Broadcasting live from RISKWORLD 2022 at the Moscone Center in San Francisco, it's time for Workplace MVP, brought to you by R3 Continuum, a global leader in helping workplaces thrive during disruptive times. Now, here's your host.
Hi, everyone. Your host, Jamie Gassmann here, coming to you from our sponsor, R3 Continuum's booth at RISKWORLD 2022. And joining me is John Huff and Steve Weinstein from Bermuda Insurance or Reinsurers.
It's great to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm excited to chat with you both. Yeah.
Our pleasure. I'm with the Association of Bermuda Insurers and Reinsurers. Our acronym is ABIR.
Great. Okay, so, and I goofed that up at the intro. I just assumed I bucketed you both underneath the same topic, or title. So that's awesome. So tell me a little bit about what you both do. So you're, Steve, you're with Bermuda. So share with us a little bit about what Bermuda does.
So I am the chair of the Bermuda Business Development Agency, a joint venture, a not-for-profit between the government and Bermuda's private sector to promote Bermuda's sustainable and equitable prosperity. The principal way we do that is by recruiting jobs, companies, and capitals to come to Bermuda, to invest in our platform, and to invest in Bermudians, and to take the Bermuda story on the road, to come to venues like RIMS and reach out to our friends and partners and make new ones, and explain what we can do together to help grow U.S. risk markets, to alleviate problems, and to have fun while we're doing it.
Wonderful. And so you were sharing with me, and I think it's kind of fun to capture. You were sharing me a little bit of like history about Bermuda. You want to share that on our show? Because it was very intriguing.
So Bermuda was, its history dates back to 1609, when a rescue mission from the United Kingdom on its way to save Jamestown crashed into Bermuda's coral reef. And from that modest beginning, Bermuda has become a true paradise, a subtropical paradise, the world's risk capital, a great place to live and to work, and a really unique ecosystem. There's no fresh water in Bermuda. To drink and do laundry, we capture rainwater off our roofs, store it in tanks, and keep reusing it. Bermuda is extremely storm exposed. The first settlers landed and built houses based upon Midlands English architecture, and a hurricane rolled through and knocked them all down. And they immediately got to work to build storm-resilient housing out of stone using simple techniques. That's also something that Bermuda can bring to the world as we confront this rising climate-driven trend for greater risk. Bermuda learned to build a resilient community with no power tools. And if we all work together, we can be safer from the inevitable rise in whether it's storms or floods and wildfire. We just have to be sensible. So.
Yeah. No, I just thought that was such an interesting story and sharing that. And I love, hearing kind of some background around the areas that people are from. And I know you're an exhibitor here at the conference. So what are some of the things you're sharing with attendees that are coming by? John, do you want to speak to that?
Sure. So if you fast forward from 1609 to the last 35 or 40 years, Bermuda now represents about a third of the global property and casualty reinsurance. I like to say we were climate before it was cool. So we've dealt with natural catastrophes all over the world and represent a large segment. But also captive insurance was started in Bermuda. So really any innovation in the insurance or reinsurance industry has happened in Bermuda in that last period of time.
Great. So here at the show, you're hoping to bring more business to Bermuda. Is that correct?
That's right, and also to write more business globally. So our companies in Bermuda do business in about 150 countries, so we're guests in those countries as we provide insurance and reinsurance protection.
Awesome. And so if you were going to tell somebody, kind of a selling point of something super special about what Bermuda brings and gives to either an organization or somebody looking to maybe relocate, what is that? Like, what would you share? The charm of Bermuda.
So in the insurance sector, it's innovation and agility. So being able to respond. So because we've responded to natural disasters, natural catastrophes, and that's really been our bread and butter business, we've been very responsive in that market. And that's what we've been known for, is immediate response when there's a crisis, whether you're making a family or a community whole after a very disruptive event. And to have the capital behind it to make sure you can make good on your promises.
Yeah.
So I'll touch on two things. Bermuda really stands out uniquely in respect of its ecology and culture and architecture for innovation. And there are so many needs, and they're so complicated to be able to move quickly in an architecture that's compliant and blue chip and respected worldwide. but also fosters getting new solutions to market quickly is really unique about Bermuda. On a human level, it really is a subtropical paradise. There's nearly no better place to live, work, and play. And whether you come to join one of the members of companies in John's organization or want to come by yourself, Bermuda pioneered in the pandemic a new residency status, what we call the digital nomad certificate. But if you can work remotely, consider working remotely from paradise for a year.
Yeah, amazing. So now, Steve, you mentioned you are doing a presentation of sort here at RIMS. You want to share a little bit about that?
The most important thing for us in some respects to be at RIMS is to see old friends make new ones and share our story. Yeah. So we're here at the Bermuda booth, which I encourage you to visit if you're here. Come by and see us. Come by our event, we'll reach out. But we also want to be in a dialogue and hear from this community. Yeah. What are your challenges? What are your issues? And how can we collaborate together to make them better? So we're both presenting, but we're also listening.
Yeah. So you're presenting within your booth itself and kind of sharing that message. Got it. Okay. That's fascinating. And I'm definitely going to have to stop by and take a look at some of the architecture you've built. You have the only house in the expo hall, something very unique.
The traditional vernacular Bermuda architecture, which is aesthetically pleasing but also storm resilient, is modeled here by our booth. So we're the only two-story structure, and you can pretend that you're riding out a hurricane. By the way, another traditional aspect of riding out a hurricane in Bermuda is to have your supplies, your water, your edible snacks, but also the national drink, the dark and stormy. And if we see you socially across this week, we'll treat you a dark and stormy or two.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us the charm and the lure of Bermuda and why organizations should consider that for a business opportunity.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for promoting workplace empathy and safety and forward thinking. It's so important to our members. The most important capital is human capital, and we are pleased to make this connection to be here with you today.
Wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you both for being on the show.
Thank you for joining us on Workplace MVP. R3 Continuum is a proud sponsor of this show and is delighted to celebrate most valuable professionals who work diligently to secure safe workplaces where employees can thrive.